Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin. Darren and Josh make a movie.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to kick it back to the director of the movie you just watched, Spiral, Darren Lynn Bousman. Thank you.
What about Josh Stolberg?
That's my mother right here clapping in there.
What about Josh Stolberg?
And Josh Stolberg.
JP, I don't know, man.
We're going to start the podcast. This is going to be a little weird because it's a podcast at the same time as being a Q&A and an interview, so bear with us for a second. Hey, everyone. This is Darren and Josh Make a Movie, and this week's going to go a little bit different because where are we, Josh?
We are at the Saraha Casino in Las Vegas, and we are doing a live episode of the show.
We just got through watching Spiral from the Book of Saw, which is the first time that I have seen Spiral from the Book of Saw since the movie came out. But this is a little different, as I mentioned, and I'm going to turn you over to who's going to kind of be moderating this evening, and that is Emmy Award-winning. Emmy.
Rachel Smith, thank you so much. We're so happy to have you here. Earlier today, we did an episode where we kind of were leading, but we're so happy to sit back and let you do all of the work.
Thank you guys so much. I've been in Vegas for 20 years. This is such an exciting kickoff to this brand new film festival event, the Future of Film Association Optics Fest. So thank you guys so much for being here. We are so thrilled to have the very scary, no, only their movies, not in person, they're very lovely and charming. Of course, you guys, Josh, now he had a whole bunch of adjectives. King of the world, people's sexiest man alive, was that also?
Thank you, yes, that's me.
Charmer of all charmers.
Yes, good.
Where the magic happens.
Good.
And then Darren is
Degenerate,
the filmmaker.
I mean, I guess. But wait.
Wait, Rachel, wait. I have to make fun of you for a second. So usually when we tape these, Darren has a gut pillow that he wears. But the last episode
I put a pillow on my gut, not like I have
it's
a
called a
built-in
gut pillow. And last time the camera auto-focused on his gut pillow and not his face, so I asked him not to use his gut pillow today.
That's mean.
But I will tell you, I did lose 40-some pounds in the last 5 months, so I've got like another 20 to go. But I was a hefty dude. I was well fed.
Congratulations. He'll be at the pool later with just a Speedo.
Exactly. No, that's not going to happen. But we're missing a very special guest that I'd like to bring out right now. And I think she said she was going to do an interpretive dance on the way out here. Marisol, are you gonna grace us with a swan dance of some sort?
We need a little more female, girl power.
Marisol Nichols!
Yeah.
Yes. So lovely. We need some more girl power on this stage. How are you?
Girls versus boys.
Blood
Gorgeous.
red. Blood red, okay?
Okay.
We're making sure your mic works now, too. So.
Test. Yeah.
Do you know, wait really quick, I gotta say something. Do you understand that it was 2 weeks into shooting Spiral before I put together that you were one of the Audreys from, I didn't
really?
realize, I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks into filming Spiral. I didn't realize because, they changed them. And I was a fan of them, but I didn't put together that she was one of them. And they're screening the movie here tomorrow?
That was my first movie, actually, ever.
What?
Seriously, your first?
Ever. Like, I'd never been on a film set.
It is one of my favorite ongoing like jokes in the entire franchise of comedies. To change it out, Rusty and the daughter. It just made me very happy.
Good, I'm glad.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to take away your thunder.
No, I
Please.
was going to say, first of all, thank you guys all for being here in Las Vegas for this inaugural event. So when there's a Jeopardy question later, you guys will be the answer, right?
Great.
Exactly. And first of all, it's so nice to have you back in Vegas because of Vegas Vacation.
That's right.
Is that such a nostalgic thing every time you come back?
I mean, it is. Like I was saying, like it was my first film ever. I was very overwhelmed and very like, what am I doing here and how did I get here and all of that. But it's always nice to come back. I mean, we're here for 3-4 months filming. Yeah.
Well, your career is incredible. I mean,
Wait. I'm sorry, Rachel.
Go for it, Josh.
3 or 4 months filming?
Yeah. At least that was my memory. It might have been 2.
Some of my movies are 3 days. That's insane.
It also has my favorite joke in the it's when he goes to the really downtrodden casino and is playing the most ridiculous games like cups and balls and just guess what hand it's in.
That's
I
right.
thought it was great.
Sorry, Rachel.
No,
We're-
listen, Chevy was having fun in Vegas. You probably want to stay a little longer, right?
He was great. He was amazing. And I learned, Randy Quaid taught me craps.
Wow.
Chevy and everyone else taught me how to play blackjack.
Amazing.
I mean, there was nothing else to do but gamble, and we were staying pretty much in the hotel and shooting in the hotels and shooting in the casino. So we all, actually, one of our crew members won a car at one of the slots and quit the film and drove back to LA.
That's what I would do.
Can you work that out for us, too?
Right? Exactly.
Well, your career's been so incredible. I mean, not many people have on their resume, 90210, 24, Riverdale, Saw. I mean, it's pretty incredible and so great. I mean, we're all going to avoid the hot wax situation, though, because, wow. I want to ask you, first of all, I mean, don't you guys ever wonder when you're watching scary movies? They're so terrifying. I had to cover my eyes. I know you're an actress. I know you guys know what's happening. Is there ever a moment, though, or a scene that you're actually a little scared or at least nervous to film because of all that's involved?
No, I love it. I'm
Really?
like, oh, this is amazing. I get to die. I get to be tortured. How cool is that?
Wow.
And I think, and the whole wax,
Well,
of my
I
face
will-
was really fun.
I will tell you that it was
Yeah.
the most problematic trap that the producers were the most worried about on the movie. We couldn't tell you while we were doing it, but yeah,
I had no
because
idea.
yeah,
Why?
because you're not, is it inverted? Is that the right word?
Yeah, I was
Inverted?
inverted.
Yeah, you're inverted, and we are dripping liquid on your face.
Oh, yeah.
And you were to get the shot, you had to be still, so you were completely strapped in.
Yep.
And it was a thing. And you were one of the main reasons that we got the NC. And this is what's ridiculous about the MPAA. They hyper fixate on certain things, and this was the least violent of any of the Saw movies that
Yeah.
I made. And I thought that when we turned it in, it was going to be an easy R. I think we got 12 NC-17s, and eventually we had to rip out 80.
17.
Why?
We had to rip out everything. The entirety, I would say 12 minutes of the traps got taken out. All the finger trap is gone, basically. The tongue trap is only a little bits left. And your scene got cut down to basically 3 shots of it actually happening. Because I don't know if you remember this, Francois built a puppet that moved, and it was horrible to look at because it was your face.
Yeah.
And underneath it, you saw the eyes going red, the eyes bubbling, and MPA made us cut it all out. So it is, of all the Saw films I did, it's the most stripped down to
You should release that footage of all the stuff that was cut.
I would have said a year ago that would have been never in the cards, but in the last 6 weeks, I have gone back to Lionsgate and done the 4K remaster of Saw 2, 3, and 4. So they're
Really?
re-putting them all back out. So
Oh, that's great. That's great.
there is a chance.
We need a version without all of the cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, that's one of the
I wanna
number
see.
one fan questions, online, when we were talking about doing the panel, was, please tell Darren to release, the deleted scene.
I found a gut hat now.
Got that. The deleted scenes. And the truth is that there were no completely deleted traps. We do get a lot of
Go fuck yourself.
texts
There most absolutely was.
No, there was
the face being blown off.
No, I know, but we didn't. That shot was not in the
I will
film.
slap you in the face. It was
I will kill
Did
you
they do the
right
same
now,
movie?
Darren.
What was his name? I forget his name in it, but the face blowing off and Samuel Jackson putting the face back together and it fell off and then he screamed. That was all cut out. That was 2 minutes cut out.
I'm sorry. We'll put that in the 4K re-release, I guess.
You know what? You can't buy chemistry like this, okay? Obviously, that's why you guys have a podcast. I want to ask you guys too. It's really interesting. What was the arc from the pitch from Rock to the making this? Because he pitched you guys kind of ideas for the film. At least that's what's out there. So what did that happen? Because that's not usually the pitch comes from an actor.
Yeah. Do you want to? You were about to say something.
We each have different stories of how it came to be, but for me, it was crazy. I hadn't talked to Mark in years, probably Mark Berg, who made all the films. I was in New York gearing up to direct a Broadway play. It's like a dream of mine, and I was there, and I was starting rehearsals the next week, and I get a phone call from Mark Berg who said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm in New York." And he said, "No, you need to be in LA." And I said, "I can't." And he goes, "You can. You're meeting Chris Rock tomorrow or the next day." And it took, I heard it being told when I walked in, they were showing behind the scenes. I said, "Chris who?" And he goes, "Chris Rock." And I was like, who? And I wasn't processing that Chris Rock is who he meant. I was like, surely there's another person named Chris Rock. And he sent me the script on the plane, and he did not say it was Saul. He just said it's called organ donor.
That's right.
And so I got on the plane, and it wasn't until about page 25 or so that I was like, this is a Saw film. No, it did not say it on there. There was no hints. There were no clues. Right. So I was in the air on page 25, and I remember texting Mark from the plane. I was like, is this fucking Saw? And he wrote, see you in the morning. And that was the next day I met with Chris. But go ahead on your...
So we had already written the first draft of Saw X after Jigsaw, and we were very, very excited about it. And we got a call from Mark and Oren Kuliz and Mark Berg, and they were like, stay by your phone, Chris Rock's gonna call you any minute now. And it's exactly the same thing. Chris, what? Quick, what? Who? Why? Huh? And Chris had a meeting at Lionsgate with Jason Constantine, who's a good friend of ours who we unfortunately went to the memorial for him last week. But he said that Chris wanted to make a Saw movie and had ideas for it. And we met with Chris, my writing partner, Pete Goldfinger, and I met with Chris. And we had this great conversation where he was like, what would it be like if, I don't know if I could do his voice.
Wow. Wow.
What would it be like if I was in a Saw trap, if I was chained to the radiator in a bathroom? How would that turn out? And they totally scrapped Saw X for 3 years and said, you're starting to write this tomorrow and go. And I have to say that I've probably made, 20 movies, either writing or directing over the course of the years, and this was the fastest movie from pitch to release.
Wow.
And the reason is because you've got stars behind it.
Yeah.
As soon as they hired Chris, they hired Sam Jackson, and then you're like, holy crap, this has got to happen now. And it was a sprint
Well,
to the end.
I'll tell you that the thing that made this movie so different from a development process is, I mean, Chris Rock is a superstar. I mean, he is. There's a whole other level to Chris that I can't even begin to explain. When you go anywhere with Chris, like, there's no one that I ever saw that did not know exactly who he was.
Yeah,
He is, but he's also the most humble, down to earth. He sat at Video Village every day. Sam Jackson, not so much, but Chris Rock, I mean, I keep it fucking real.
Do you know who I am? I don't have to sit and watch the dailies.
No, but Chris was always there. But I'll tell you, the thing that to me was so crazy was we had that week where we were in a hotel with Chris. It was not like staying in a hotel with Chris. Like we would go to a hotel where there was a big
Darren
table.
and Chris shared a bed.
No, but he would sit down and he would drop his script on the table and he would say, let's start. And it was like literally going through every page. And he would say, I think that I got the best filmmaking advice that I've heard from a writing advice is Chris would sometimes say, I'm not saying that. He would say, I'm not saying that. And he said, I can't say something that sounds like it's the first time I'm thinking it. And he was like, I'm real. I'm this character. I've thought this 1,000 times. I've said it 1,000 times. I've agonized over it. And so he was going through the script and just crossing, he's like, I can't say that. And then Josh, Pete, and Chris would sit there and workshop ideas, and then Chris would say it. And then we would all know at the same time, that's the line. Yeah. Like you would hear Chris go through the process, and then he would hit it, and we would all be like, that's the line. And he would write it in, and they would re-put it in the script.
What was really amazing also was that Chris Rock was getting a chance to see him work on a joke, on an idea. We would be sitting around the table, and he would just start riffing. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But to watch his mind create ideas, and he wanted to bring himself. He was going through some difficulties with his wife at the time, and that Pilates speech that's in the middle of the movie, which is one of my favorite jokes in the film that I'll take credit for, but it was all him. Talking about how Pilates is just a big ruse for women to have sex.
I love that you look at me when you're saying that.
No, I didn't
Thank
mean
you.
that, Marisol.
No,
I
thank
didn't
you.
mean it. I didn't mean it.
Can I just say, from an actor's point of view, working with Chris Rock was like being front row at a Chris Rock concert.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Every single day.
I mean, I'm
it
curious,
was fantastic.
Does that help you, like when you're in this scary movie, that you have comic relief with, an actor like that?
It's all him. So
Yeah.
he'd just be like, just go with me. Just go with me, Marisol, right? And so I would just feed him the line, and he would try 1,000 different takes and 1,000 different riffs and 1,000 different jokes, and then eventually get back to the scene, and I would just keep going, right? But it was effortless. It's like watching a master at his craft.
Probably like the best improv class you could ever have. Working with him, right?
There was one day, and I'll never forget it. We were outside, and it was a scene between Chris and Max Minghella, and my phone rang, and I see it, and it's my wife, and I hit ignore, and Chris looks at me, he just goes like that, and then it rings again, and I hit ignore, and then on the third ring, I said, I'm so sorry, I'm going to silent. And he goes, you better answer that. And so I answer the phone, and he can hear her yelling. Chris can hear my wife yelling. And he goes, and I hang up the phone, and he then starts berating me in a very Chris Rock way, and then more people start coming, and then more people start coming. And 30 minutes later, the entire crew was in a circle, and I realized that Chris Rock is not only roasting me, he's doing like tambourine .2 to me. And it was so surreal to be like, he devoted 30 minutes of our shoot day to tearing me and my wife's relationship down in the most hilarious, comical, endearing, amazing way.
Did anyone get that on film?
No, but we do have one thing that we got on film, which Chris Rock would never turn. This shows you how cool he is. He told his daughters that he would never have his phone on silent. They can call him 24/7, and he would always pick up. And he told me that before we started filming. He's like, if my phone rings and it's my daughters, I pick up.
Right, yeah.
And so his phone was always on, and sometimes would ring in the middle of the take. And one time, I don't know if you were there when this happened, his phone rings, he looks at it, and he goes, oh, it's Woody Harrelson, can I answer it? And I said, yeah, and it was a FaceTime call. So the camera is over, so I can see the phone, and Woody Harrelson's like, Rock! And he's like, yo, I'm on set. And he's like, well, someone wants to say hi to you. And then the phone goes over a little bit, and it's Sacha Baron Cohen. And they go, Chris, where are you? And then it goes back a little bit, and it's Isla Fisher. And then it was Bono, and there was Matthew McConaughey and two other people. And I was like, we're filming. This is going to make the movie. I'm going to list all of these motherfuckers' names in the movie. We got that on tape, but not...
This is the deleted scenes people want, right?
Exactly.
You know? I want to ask Marisol a question for you, because I think Hollywood's come a long way when it comes to empowered roles for women on screen. But it's interesting that the genre of horror films, I think, has been ahead of the claim. I mean, from Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween to Sigourney Weaver, it seems like this genre has always had a place for strong women in strong roles. Usually they make the best decisions, they stay alive. Like, do you remember the first movie you saw that, like, oh my gosh, I'd love to be a scream queen?
That's a really good question. Maybe it was, I think it was Scream.
Ooh, Neve Campbell.
Yeah, because Scream was so iconic.
So iconic.
And it also had this like lightness to it, and it was so like, it's just an iconic kind of popish film at the time. And I was actually a small part in Scream 2.
You sure were.
With Sarah Michelle Gellar. But I was like, that's a freaking great role. And like, she's fighting the whole time. And it's actually when my character dies, I wanted to fight the whole time. That's why I was screaming like obscenities throughout the whole thing.
I dug your character because Chris mentioned in an interview, he's like, I wanted to make like, what would 48 Hours look like in a horror movie? You take that iconic police captain chief, usually it's played by a grizzly dude with a mustache, balding, having wife troubles. Well, you've seen that character, that archetype. And I thought it was so cool to see you do it, and you busting Chris Rock's balls right off the that very first time you see him busting. But you intimidate me. You're badass because you like go undercover and like do awesome. I mean, can you talk about that for a second?
I can. It's taken a big right turn.
Yeah.
No, we want to hear about it though, because it is pretty freaking cool.
Just one second. Just because to me that's so cool, and I follow you on that. And I just don't know how many people know about that.
Yeah.
It's a real
So.
background.
It's kind of like I fell into it, but for the people that don't know, off and on for the last decade or so, I use my acting skills and I partner with law enforcement and former FBI and former agents and former military, and I will go around and infiltrate either trafficking rings and try to get girls and women out, or I will take down pedophiles, which is my funnest thing that I love to do. I've been in some fairly horrifically dangerous situations.
Well, you have
and
power,
there
and I think
go.
you see it on screen, and that's what we talked about at the Video Village right off the bat, where we're like, immediately you're powerful, and I don't know if it comes from that or that's part of it, but that was pretty awesome.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
I love
Honestly,
that
did
role because wasn't it written for a guy?
Yeah.
It was.
It was.
Written for a
Yeah,
guy,
originally,
and that's
yeah.
my favorite thing. That it was written for a guy and I got to do it.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I
and
love
also
that.
what you've done. Can we just
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
because what you do
Thanks.
on your free time, like to volunteer in a very difficult and needed area of law enforcement, that's very admirable. So thank you for that. I mean, that's huge. That's
It's
incredible.
my pleasure. I would want, if something happened to my daughter, I would want whoever could to do what they could to help.
That's so cool. That's so
yeah.
impressive. You
It's
guys,
pretty cool.
I mean, when you guys are getting the cast, you're like, listen, is Chris Rock volunteering for the FBI on his time off?
Thanks.
Samuel Jackson? No. They're just funny all the time. But it's so
Yeah.
interesting, too. I mean, Saw, obviously, this is a little bit of a departure. It's in the book of Saw, but we decided no Jigsaw this time. Can you guys talk about the decision to do a new puppet, no Billy? Like, what was that thought process like?
I have lamented and pulled out the remaining hair that I did have over, I think, the fuckery on the release of the movie. And it's not, I don't think it's anyone's fault, but, you know, this should have been a huge success
Yeah.
with Chris Rock and all the cast. You get one bite at the apple when you're coming out with a movie. You get that ability to show it, the trailer, get the audience excited, and drive them to the theater. Trailer comes out, posters come out, people are freaking out, and then COVID hits. And then we had to wait a year. And then they wanted to release the same trailer when we came back, and it felt, we'd seen that. We'd saw those jokes. We'd seen that moment. The shock of having Chris Rock in a movie and Samuel Jackson, it was kind of gone at that point. And then they were like, let's be the first movie back in the theater. And we were the very first film back when they opened theaters up wide. And what was terrible about it was I remember going on opening night, and part of seeing a movie like this is the communal experience. And I remember walking in first night, and it was like 2 people, a big piece of tape over 4 chairs, 2 people, big piece of tape over 4 chairs. And they were sold out, sold out, sold out. So they were sold out everywhere you went, but it was sold out with 18 people in the screens.
Right.
And so they can't, at that point, put us in more theaters. We had as many theaters as we had. And so what happened is that there was no chance for the story to continue. And there was a 3-part idea with this story.
Yep.
And so the idea was this was going to come out immediately followed by the Jigsaw story, the one that became Saw 10.
Yep.
And I think if that would have happened, it would have balanced out the fans' disappointment of not getting Billy and Jigsaw because they were coming right out after us. It was literally going to be a 1-2 punch. But then they had to wait, 5 years, 4 years after this came out to get it?
Yeah.
So I am sad about that, but I mean, no one in the world could have expected COVID was going to hit. And it's a very small thing based on everything else everyone lost.
No, but I was also so sad. I'm like, this is such a great film. And when I was told we're going to be the first movie out in the theaters, no one's going to the theaters
No one
right
wants to be
now.
first. No one wants
and there
to be
was no,
first.
like,
Yeah.
this should have had like a giant red carpet.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should have had all the press, all the advertising. Saw has such a giant fan base
Massive.
that this should have been an epic event. And so I was also very disappointed at the timing of the release of the film. Now, that said, people have found the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people love the film when they found it on their own.
When they get a chance to see it.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, and I think that also you look at people went in expecting something, and we made an awesome movie for what it is, not what they wanted it to be. And I think they wanted it to have Jigsaw, and they wanted to see Billy, and they wanted to see all that. And that we didn't want to do that. We wanted to create a world, a universe, and this was going to be one story that existed in the Saw universe. Oh, you want to see Jigsaw? Here he is 3 months later. There's the Jigsaw story.
Yes.
Right.
We didn't have the ability to do that. We had to wait years and years and years. So I think that, they had a great concept for this trilogy. I guess never say never, but it's the timing was just very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it's a huge compliment to you as filmmakers and cast that it was hard to find when it leaves the theaters, and there is a cult following. There is so much interest. When I posted about doing the screening today and doing the panel, people are ravenous for more information about it, extended scenes or
yay.
deleted scenes. So at least it's a very loyal audience, and you made a good product when it's not easy to find, when there's so much entertainment out there, that there is a core audience. So it is nice when people find things on their own and love it. That's got to feel satisfying.
Thank you, Rachel.
Can I also say that, like, I only saw the first Saw, And when they were like, okay, this is from the Book of Saw and everything, I was like, okay, so there's different, like with sets, there's sets that are insanely stressful.
Yeah.
There's sets where like everyone's like on edge. It's not fun to be there. You want to just do your work and go home and get out of there. And I was like, how is this going to be? Because there's some pretty dark stuff in here. And like, how's the writer going to be who's dreaming up these like horrific, painful torture things? And then I meet Josh and Darren, and not only are they like the nicest, easiest going guys, but the set was fantastic. And it was no easy feat shooting at that time because it was also during Me Too.
Yep.
So there was a whole thing there, especially being the only female.
Do you remember in the
like,
police
it was a whole
stations?
thing.
I don't know if you remember during the police station scenes, but this is one of my memories of Chris. There was a scene where I wanted Chris, you guys just go to the bathroom and you yell at Chris in the bathroom. He went back on.
I
and
loved that scene.
He has to come back in and bust through and, do stuff. And I was like, hey, Chris, you're going to come over, you're going to push this one out of the way. And he goes, I ain't touching her. And I said, what? And he goes, I'm not going to touch her. I'm not getting Me Too'd. I got Chris Rock money. I thought that was hilarious. Chris has some of the best humor and kept the set so, and I told this story a lot, but he had the probably that I laughed the hardest. He did a very intense scene. It was in the police scene, because right after that, he turns to you and he does this big like monologue to everyone in the thing about fuck you. He does this whole thing and he's teary-eyed at the very end. And the whole set was quiet and he looked right at the camera and he goes, he says, lest none of you forget I was in Poo-Tang. What I'm saying is I got range. And then he walked away and the whole set just died.
It was great.
But it was a very light set. And I think that's why these movies are so fun. They're not serious. They are fun because we know that we're having this ability to do fun shit.
And it's the death scenes are so over the top. It's almost like when things are more relatable, it's like, this is like fantasy in a sense. I mean, we hope, right? We hope it's never the copycat killer.
Yeah.
But you guys obviously created such a great set for the cast, and you guys had such a great relationship that it like not only developed a movie, but it spawned a whole podcast. Tell us about how that all came to be, because obviously you got along pretty well. If you said, let's keep doing this, but let's even make it a podcast.
Yeah, we had a great time on set. Darren, sometimes as a screenwriter, you don't get an opportunity to be on set because sometimes the director becomes very, very, not jealous is the wrong word, but worried that you are going to take over. And there does need to be a balance between the screenwriter and the director. I know when I'm on set that the director is always the final word, but having a director that will listen to you and hear you out and not push you away before he's heard your point, I think is really important. And that's what Darren did, and that's why I think we became such good friends. And we decided we were both in this place where we had made some movies that we were really excited about and some that we weren't, and we wanted to kind of take the reins back and make a movie that it's all about us. And that's what the show is about, and that's what we're hoping to do over the course of the next year.
And also, as an actor, like you never want the writer on set. You just don't, because they've created. Like I understand it.
Yeah.
They've created something from their heart and out of nowhere and out of thin air, and they have it in their mind of how it should be done. But then as the actor, you get it, and then you go from there, and you create how you think it should be done.
Yeah.
And that sometimes clashes.
It does.
It's very hard when you're the tool of the writer, and then so. But you being on set was.
Well, I'll say, and part of the
It's
idea
great.
of this podcast is trying to be very real and unfiltered in what it really takes to get a movie made. And a peek behind the curtain on the relationships in Saw. Saw is a very incestual family. We've been making movies now for 20 years. Same people, same crew, same
So
producers. Most of the time, the same writers for these big blocks of time. And it's like siblings that are fighting constantly. And when I got brought back in, it was to the excitement of some, to the agony of others. And there was constant warring going on behind the scenes that certain people wanted me to do what I wanted and certain people did not want me to do what I wanted. And Josh Stolberg was ingrained directly in the middle of all the camps. And I knew that Josh seemed the most creatively aligned with what I wanted, and we were able to communicate without screaming. And that's a hard thing in this incestual relationship because everyone is so passionate. And that's Mark and Oren who birthed this thing. They're both extremely passionate. Lionsgate's extremely passionate. I'm extremely passionate. And so what would happen is that I would call Josh to always pitch ideas. And Josh kind of was the barometer to me about, hey, dude, that's a landmine. You do not want to go near that. We've already talked about it. And I think that I found comfort in the fact that he knew where the bodies were buried. He knew what I wanted and was able to kind of play mediator between all the sides. And it made me more comfortable. So we decided in this time that let's make a movie where that isn't the case. Let's make a movie where it's just you and I doing a movie and making a movie without the politics, the bullshit, the walking on eggshells. Even if that means we're making it for $1, we'll be in control of it. And that's what this podcast is. For those that are in the audience that don't know, we're going to make a movie, and we don't know what the idea is yet. And we have a few more weeks to figure it out, and then we're going to go pitch the movie.
Yeah.
And we're going to take them along. And you, right before we walked in, we have no idea what we're going to make yet. But Josh, you had a pitch.
Well, actually, I was going to say you might have an idea because Josh, you said you wanted to pitch Darren something, right?
Yes, but I want to, yes. But
Do you need audience participation?
I want to come back to something that Marisol said before we do that. And I think that one of the things that's really exciting for a writer is when an actor or actress walks into a room and gives you a performance that you didn't see in your head already. Like, every line in a script that I write, I know exactly the way it should be said. I've said it over and over and over and over in my head 150 times. I've gone through those pages 150 times. I know exactly what you should say. And then when you walk into the audition or you walk onto the set and say it in a way that I had never imagined, but I'm like, that's what it should. That's what I should have been thinking. That's the thing that really, really, I think, excites all of us as filmmakers, as a director, as a writer, as a producer, as anything. My wife is an actress. I have so much love for actors. It's an incredibly hard job. You are constantly at the mercy of other people accepting you and choosing you and all of these things. As a writer, I can just go off and write whatever the fuck I want. But you guys are kind of locked into that. But when you step onto a set and do what you do, Marisol, and so many of the actors that I love, like you, that I've worked with, that's the dream. That's like, when you say a line that I didn't expect it to resonate like that, that's it.
You were also like, you let me change things, if you remember. Like, you let me change things. You didn't know I'd been working with cops for for many years. So I was like, can we maybe do, but you were fantastic. Like, you let me do that and play with it. And I really, really wanted her to be smart. Yeah. I didn't want her to be a victim at all. And thanks. Yeah. And there was that scene, if you remember, when I'm actually gonna get caught and die, when she goes down to the basement, and I was like, but why wouldn't she have her gun with her? I want her to have her gun. I want her to fight. She'll lose. That's fine. Yeah. But let's have her fight hard. And you let me add that in there. And then, okay, now if she has her gun, now how do we lose it? Well, why isn't she calling for backup? Yeah. Why? Oh, okay, let's make it so that there's no reception down there, or whatever we could do to make it as believable and real as possible. Yeah, 100%. I love that.
100%.
That adds so much, because when you're watching these horror movies, you're like, why? Because that's
what drives me nuts.
Like Scream addressed it. It's like, let me go check out the boiler
Let
room
me
by
walk
myself.
into the pitch black room and not turn on the light.
Never the basement, never
when
the
I'm
attic.
hearing a strange noise.
Right?
Like, no.
We learned that, but that adds so much. By the way, were you kind of like jealous though you didn't get the Twilight line? Because that line was genius. Like, I love that. I actually laughed out loud.
I have to give it credit. I think that was Chris. It's a great fucking line.
Don't drain my battery.
But the great thing is that it's our name on the script. It's Pete and mine. Right. So I get to take credit for anybody. Like, when an actor comes on set and delivers a different line that I didn't think of, and it works, great. I'll take a line from a craft service guy if it's a good line. It's
but
great.
That's rare.
Yes.
That is rare in the business. That doesn't always happen.
Absolutely.
It doesn't always happen.
I
Darren,
know-
you were going to say something, right?
Oh, yes.
Whatever it was not important.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I hope at some point they'll let us do the director's cut. I think this movie probably is the most different of any movie that I have directed that is changed from what it originally the director's cut was to what it became. And I understand it. Listen, we're in a movie-making business. This is a business of making movies. You have to make money. And I think that the studio and those involved are like, we have, you know, two of the time, like, it was a what the fuck. How can these two actors be in this movie? They wanted to keep it accessible to everyone because they didn't want it to go too extreme, too whatever. And I think that I approached it like I did the other Saw movies. It was intense, it was violent. It had really weird, arty things out of nowhere. Like, I'm known for doing these transitional shots that seamlessly blend scenes without cuts. And we do it through production design. We'll build two sets next to each other, and the camera will glide through sets, and you miss the cut. Those all got ripped out, and because they were worried about pacing, or it's too arty, or it's too violent. So this is the one movie that I'd like to revisit to try to put back some of that stuff, just because it's not that it's a better movie. It's not that it's just a more, I think it fits more in that world of what the original Saw films I made were. It'd be interesting. Love it.
Well, we got some great audience members today. Not to put you guys on the spot, but you guys were so excited watching the screening. I love the enthusiasm. I mean, like, the people are watching like this. They're laughing at the jokes. That's why this movie, I think, really works on both levels. Does anyone want to ask anyone here on the panel a question? You won't be on camera, so if you worry about that. Like, if you're on, People's Most Wanted, you're fine. You're covered.
All right, what's your name? What's your passion?
Hey, my name's Ben Goldman. I do talent management and run an acting school in town, so.
Sweet.
Thank you. Yeah. Out of curiosity, what was the, can I ask where the trilogy was gonna go? Had you done it?
I don't know. We're still too new to say that it's not going to happen, but...
I think it needs to happen.
Yeah, you know what? The
I do.
film got taken over. Not taken over. That sounds like it's a bad thing. I'm very excited. Blumhouse took the rights with the original director, James Wan. So they are going to be kind of spearheading the Saw franchise. And look, there's a chance that we'll never see another Spiral, but I promise you, I promise you this. On the podcast in the next year, if we don't get an opportunity to make the film we want to make, I will tell you the two next films.
All right, I'll be listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have a question they'd like to ask?
Did you guys get paid well? Just tell me you got paid well.
Yeah.
For Blumhouse.
Never.
I'll tell you.
Get paid.
Oh,
You don't
the
get
Blum.
paid
No,
anything.
wait, no.
Blum-
Blumhouse.
That's what I'm
The question is,
asking.
did Mark
Oh.
and Oren get paid
Yeah,
well?
Mark and Oren got paid.
Yeah.
We don't get paid anything.
We don't get anything.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fine.
All right, another question here. What's your name and passion?
Hi, my name is Dilara. I'm super excited for all of you being here, and thank you so much for the panel once again. I have a question for Marisol for acting.
Yeah.
So if you're acting in a horror movie, first off, it's kind of a two-part question. First off, is it for you hard to kind of step out of that life, especially if something's so dark, and then you also in your private life do all that investigative acting in a way? Do you find yourself like having a hard or easy time, I don't know, to step out of that, especially if there's so much blood spread happening in the movie?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
The private life, that's hard.
Yeah.
That I need to recoup when I come back.
Yeah.
That I need a moment. Sometimes I won't have my daughter. I'm like, have my daughter go with her dad or something, just so she doesn't see me when I come back, depending on what I've done, right? That I have to decompress and take some time off. The horror movie, I'm there like a giddy audience member. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so good. Like, I can put myself in the audience viewpoint of, oh yeah, if there's that much blood, oh, that's gonna be great. Or like, we need, like, oh, look at that trap and no one's gonna know. And like, that's fun to me. That's creating art, that's creating entertainment for an audience. That is no problem at all.
So
I
it's
can do that
almost
all
like a
day long. And I'm a
technique.
horror movie fan. Like, I grew up watching Exorcist, which was like the ultimate, and Damien, and all the old school, like Amityville horror, all of those things. And like The Ring, and all of these amazing. So I like that. To me, it's like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
So for me to be part of the ride is fantastic. Love
I
it.
love that. I don't think I've ever heard a description like that.
Oh, really?
From an actress. Yeah, that's really
Yeah, it's like a
insightful.
roller coaster. I think it's like, because you're taking the audience on a ride.
It sounds fun
Love it.
now.
It's
I wanna
great.
do a horror film.
Yeah.
Does
Love
anyone
it.
else, we have a few minutes
It's
left.
all for you, Damien. We got two more
Okay, 2 more
questions,
questions.
Great.
and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Name and passion.
Hello, my name is Marlon. My passion is screenwriting, and I actually got a question for the screenwriter, Josh.
Sweet. Awesome.
Okay, so about a week after this movie came out, I went on a vacation to Miami, and I started, it was my first time that I decided to tackle a creature film, right? So since you've written, like, you also did the Piranha movie, right? From
Yeah, Piranha
2010?
3D.
Yes, I was 8 years old when I saw that movie. Absolutely
Wait,
loved
how
it.
old were you?
8.
Dude, where are your parents? I need to.
My dad took me, and I had a great time in the theater watching this. So
Yikes.
it was my first R-rated movie in theaters, and I just had a ball watching that
And
movie.
just so everyone knows, if you haven't seen it, there's a scene where Jerry O'Connell's penis gets bitten off by a piranha, is floating in the water in 3D in front of you, and then another piranha comes, eats it, regurgitates it out,
God.
and then another piranha comes and swallows it. So that's what his dad
Josh.
at 8 years old was
And-
willing
and we-
to.
And the Academy ignored this film?
I don't know why.
Not
I
one
don't know why.
nomination?
Sorry. Yes. Go ahead, buddy.
They're so picky.
So I've been developing this movie for about 4 years now, and one thing that I stumble across a lot is how do you get more creative with each kills? You know, you've written a couple of the Saw movies already. You did Piranha. How do you get more and more creative with the kills and just elevate the story? Because sometimes I feel like I can't get past, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it completely. You know, look, I can't sit here and pretend like I'm an island sitting out and coming up with everything myself. I have a writing partner. I have a director. I've worked with many directors. They all come up with ideas to make it work. Actors come and they bring things to it. So that's the first thing. I need to make it very, very clear when I'm saying, I really love you and I appreciate what you're saying and I appreciate your enthusiasm for what we do as screenwriters, but you do have to take into account that it's a whole team. That said, what I will say is that I primarily write horror with a guy named Pete Goldfinger, who I went to college with, and we'll go on vacations together, and we're like walking around, and our families went on a cruise ship one time, and we're sitting there walking around the cruise ship, and we see the huge anchor with the huge chain that's like the size of a human being. These chains, and we'll be like, you know what I would do? I would put you in that chain as it wraps around and like cuts you into pieces. Like half of my life
not
is just
normal.
no, seriously. Like half of my life is like thinking how I would kill somebody. That said, I'm a nice guy. But I mean, you just, honestly, you just walk around and just like what would you do? And that's why I love horror. I mean, I love what Marisol was saying before about being on a set of a horror movie. It's completely different. When you're on a set of a comedy, everybody is angry and serious.
So different.
Yes, and they're like worried that this
awful.
isn't
Funny.
funny. This isn't fun. They've read the line 50 times. They've said the line in rehearsal 12 times. They've read the line in read-throughs 3 times. And by the time they get on set, they think the joke doesn't work, not because it doesn't work, but because they've said it so many times. And everyone is angry and bitter and worried that their career's going to end. When you're on a set of a horror movie, it's a carnival.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Oh my God.
Thank you.
I think we
Yes,
have one last question, right? Do we have time for it, Judy?
Yes, we do. We have one
One
more.
last one.
Your
All right.
name and passion.
Bring it strong.
Hello, my name is Anna, and I'm a marketing student. I'm a big fan of you guys, and my question is for Marisol. How did you feel filming your trap scene? Like, how was that like, that experience?
I mean, I thought it was. Well, at first, to be honest, when you guys, okay, listen, Marisol, you're gonna be slightly upside down, and we're gonna pour this black liquid all over your mouth. Don't swallow and try not to drown. At first, I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna go with this. But like I said before, like it was a blast. Like what the scene that you were talking about that got cut out. So I had to go to this like warehouse where that was scary. Where they're making a cast of my entire...
They do a full body life cast. They basically put molding stuff over the face with straws,
I'm
probably.
breathing through straws.
Wow.
And that's an actual trap.
I mean,
That
that's
scared
the most
crap out of
claustrophobic
me,
you can get.
Because I can't, like you've got the rest movement of the rest of your body, but from here up, I'm in cement.
Do you know there's a video?
It was terrifying.
For those in the audience, I'm going to put something on my Insta stories today. I have the video of the puppet in action
Oh, I
that
wanna
you can
see that.
you can see what it would have been before the MPA cut it out. It's
Yeah.
pretty horrific, and
I
it's
wanna
your
see
face. I mean, it's you.
That was freaky.
Did you feel
That
it
was
was a good
scary.
facial though, like a good exfoliant?
It was, but I'll tell you something. When you walk into
Glowing.
that guy's warehouse, he's like the guy who makes all the body parts.
Are
and
we
all-
talking about Francois?
Yeah,
He did
yeah.
Hannibal. I mean, he made all this stuff
Yeah.
for Hannibal. all
Yeah,
this
yeah.
I
stuff you
filmed
saw,
it because I was like, this is insane. There's like body parts hanging from the ceiling and like arms and decapitated and like torsos with the guts hanging out. And I'm like, wow. And they're rocking like heavy metal the whole time. And I was like, okay, welcome to the Saw
horror,
world.
I think horror people and horror audiences are the most calm, collected, cool, fun, kind people. And there was a study, we talked about it on one of the other podcasts, there was a study during COVID. It was a peer review, it was a professional thing where they talked about the people, they interviewed and hooked up a bunch of people and tested their emotional stability throughout the COVID times. And the people that had an affection for horror were able to deal with it much easier than the people that did not, because we traumatize ourselves by watching these movies. And what would you do in a zombie apocalypse or an alien invasion or being kidnapped by Jigsaw? And so when a travesty like COVID happens, they felt, okay, we've gone through this in our minds.
Yeah, it's like it could be worse.
It is, and I think that
Could be worse.
Could be worse.
the people on comedies who walk around that are angry or soap operas, whatever that is, they don't get to live through those things. We get to do them every day, and it's fun. And it's I think that's what it is. We get to explore the darker sides of humanity and then go home and eat pizza and drink beer and laugh
Right.
about it. They don't get to do that.
No.
And so
Right. Did you have any extra part of your question? I want to make sure I didn't.
That was all. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Thanks,
you.
nice to meet you.
And I just want to say thank you
Did you
guys
guys wanna
all
talk
for being
about
here. You guys are such a great, loyal,
we did awesome.
fans of this whole Saw franchise, the whole Saw world. Before we leave, I want to ask you guys, well, I'm going to start with Marisol. You've done so many amazing things. I mean, you've done comedy, thrillers, horror films. What is next on your bucket list that we maybe are going to see you doing in the next 3 to 5 years?
You know, I've never done the action hero thing.
Really?
And I would like to, because that's kind of more my life anyway.
Let's manifest that.
I
Who's
would
the
like to do.
cast?
I'd like to do the action hero.
well, she's the cast.
Well, I mean, but like, would you have a female co-star, a fun love interest? What would you like? Who have you never worked with that you'd love to?
Tom Cruise. Hands down. I'd love to work with
I
Tom
mean,
Cruise.
he does action probably better than anyone,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
absolutely.
And
I have a crush on Tom
And I
Cruise.
can see you
Yeah,
doing
right?
your own stunts
You've got
too.
a crush on
Thank you.
Cruise?
Who
Well,
doesn't
I'm
have a
also-
crush?
I agree.
I mean, how can you not?
So charming.
He's a badass.
But no, he can do his stunts. I'll sit back and let someone else climb the tower, and I'll just sit back on the ground and just say, make me look good.
So, and let me ask you guys. I mean, I know we kind of know what's next a little bit for Saw. What's next for you guys besides the podcast and making a movie? When are we going to see this movie?
Or is there a genre that you would want to do that you haven't
Yes.
done already?
Musicals.
Oh, that's a good question too.
What about
wanna know.
musicals?
Yeah.
I've got a couple of things happening. I've got a movie at Lionsgate called The Priest that is like a
Don't tell them, Josh.
Is that the one you're sending me?
yeah.
Okay, great.
And I'm very, very excited about that. It hasn't been announced in the trades yet, so I can't talk about it, and I'm sorry.
Don't make Lions get mad. Don't make them mad.
No, definitely not. And I'm just excited about this, and the film, what I'm most excited about our project is that we're gonna make a film that just is for us, which hasn't happened for me since I made my first independent movie 20 years ago. So that's very, very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, listen, anytime you can make a movie around the system, to me, it's always cooler. It just feels, I want to live or die by my own mistakes. I don't want to be able to blame someone else and say, well, I would have done this, or I would have done, this time we're going to do that. And if we fuck it up, we fucked it up. It's our failure. And I think to me, that's always more exciting because there's more pressure and there's more risk like that. So I'm excited about what this thing is going to turn into. And
What about a Broadway version of Saw?
Oh my gosh.
by the way,
Jigsaw
really quick,
singing
my
and
last
dancing.
thing, I have to leave. Read what is on my wrist right now. Read that says.
It says Saw the musical.
There's Saw the musical is in Los Angeles right now.
Listen,
I was
really?
invited to it and I saw it, and it is hilarious in all the inappropriate ways that you can ever imagine. It tours all over the United States, and it's called Saw the musical.
Oh, it's amazing.
I love it.
Amazing.
Oh, and last thing, just for people here, please, follow along. It's DJ Make a Movie on all the socials and on YouTube. We're releasing episodes every week, but we're throwing out the ideas for the movies that we want to make. And we're looking for input. So
Chime in.
Yeah, chime in. Write like
No.
that fucking sucks, and Josh, get a new career. But please join us for the journey. We're very excited about it.
And I know you're not doing submarine movie, but I loved the submarine movie pitch.
Well,
Thank you.
Don't encourage him.
The submarine movie is awesome.
It was very mid.
well, I just want to first of all thank our awesome audience and our big,
Thank you, guys.
devoted Saw Spiral fans. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Darren. Thank you to the lovely Marisol, who, by the way, has not aged since Vegas vacation. Can I get the skin regime? Because maybe I need some hot wax. Maybe I need a trap, okay?
Thank you. And also, JP, thank you so much for having us. We're so happy to be here.
And thank
so
you
much.
guys for being
Very
here for
welcome,
the
very
very first
welcome.
Future of Film Association Optifex.
Woo! Thank you guys for coming to Optics.
I was very excited. We're in Las Vegas, and we just gotten off stage after doing a whirlwind. This is our three podcasts in like
3 podcasts in 24 hours.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go drink, and then you stop me as I'm walking down, and I cannot wait to fucking hear this idea because it's getting in front of my old fashions and my ryes and my food. So Josh,
Wait, what's
please-
Rise?
Rye whiskey.
Oh, rye whiskey. Got it. All
So
right. So look, don't get too excited. Look, as we've done in the last couple of episodes, I'm going to give you just a general idea. It's a 40-second pitch.
And I think that what everyone needs to understand is that we really don't sit and prep these things. He told me yesterday an idea, and then he was like, today he's like, I'm going to tell you the idea on stage, and then he didn't tell me the idea on stage. So now I'm about to hear the idea for the first time, which would be, I think, our fifth idea now.
Sixth or seventh idea.
Well, you had them all. I've had a single idea, but I cannot wait. Okay.
All right.
So
So,
I swear
look,
to God, if there's
all
a
right.
submarine in this.
There's a sub, and zombies, and a sub,
Okay.
and nuclear energy.
All right.
No, not at all. Look, we're trying to find an idea that is producible on a budget, right?
Right.
Do you remember in the very, very first teaser episode we did, there was a guy named Drew McEnany that was pretending to do the lightning on our...
Oh, yeah, I remember that guy.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew. He owns, he works at a company that does planes that you shoot. You can
Influencers use them a lot. Yeah. I've seen
yeah,
it.
to pretend like they're on a jet. Anyway, so the idea is called Free Fall. I don't know if that's the actual title, but that's what I'm calling it right now. And imagine this. You set up like Airplane 76 or any of those movies, and you've got 40 people hopping onto a jet that's doing a midnight ride across the country, right? And you get to introduce each character just like in those old airplane movies. And they board the plane, and the plane takes off. It's nighttime, and a few people are asleep, and we get to introduce some of the characters as we go along. The plane takes off, hits 30,000 feet or whatever in the middle of the air. It's rocking and rolling because there's a little bit of turbulence, and all of a sudden, everyone's screens come on, and a face comes on. Maybe it's masked, maybe it's not, I don't know. And they say there are 40 people on this plane. The pilots are dead. We cut to the pilots in the cockpit, and they've been slit throat, whatever. Right. The thing is, the plane is on autopilot, and the person on the plane, on the monitor, says basically, if there are more than 10 people alive on this plane, then it's going to run out of gas eventually and plummet into the earth. The only way to get control over the plane again is if there are only 10 people left on the plane. You got 40 people on there, and basically it becomes a a movie about survival, about morality, about people fending for themselves. You get a moment where
Testing 1 2.
Testing 1 2. You get the.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Good meeting, ladies and gentlemen. You get the different factions that form. You've got the people that would never kill anybody in a million years. You've got the people that are like, fuck yeah, we are the 10 that are going to survive. And we get to kill people in creative, fun ways in a small, contained space. And that's the general idea.
I think it's great. I really do like that. I mean, it's obviously contained. It is doable because there are a few of those airplanes around Los Angeles that are grounded.
I forgot my big twist. And I'm giving the twist away.
Are you giving the twist away?
Yeah, I'm going to give the twist away.
Should you?
Yeah, fuck yeah. We're including the audience in this whole situation.
What's the twist?
All right, this is the twist.
Tobin Bell stands up?
Tobin Bell stands up. No, the twist is that we realize that the plane never took off. That we've been on a gimbal the entire time. You were telling me something yesterday about a big stage.
Volume stages.
A volume stage. Explain to them what a volume stage is.
I believe the volume stage is the LED. It's like a curved LED wall to create. You can basically project stuff, and it's photoreal. It's not like it used to be. Like you would not be able to tell. I was mentioning that like Mandalorian uses it in a lot of the backdrops. So I was talking that I went to a volume stage with on that. What's the name of that guy's movie that has the biggest disaster movies? Whatever his name is, Roland Emmerich.
Yeah.
He took me to a volume stage. I was blown away by It is the next level. I mean, I've never had the budget to use one, but are you thinking about putting...
So the idea is that the plane is on a gimbal, you're on a volume stage, the audience thinks
just
that
like
you're in the air, the characters think they're in the air, and then the big twist in the end is the plane lowers down and you realize this has all been a test of morality, and I don't know, and maybe we can get help from our crew with you guys, how that works and why it happens, but I feel like there's something there.
It's a very high concept idea, and I think it checks the big box that I always mentioned to you, which is you need to walk into a studio and be able to sell it in 30, 60 seconds, where everyone gets the idea, and I think you can easily sell that. Pitching it back to you, it is a Saw-esque kind of thing, where a bunch of people that are on a plane are told that you have 60 minutes. It's also got a great ticking clock because you're doing real time.
Yeah, and you get to watch the plane fuel go down the entire time.
60 minutes, only 10 of you can survive. It's up to you guys. You guys don't have to do shit because you're all going to crash, or you can do this thing. So I completely...
And we could put as much stuff in the cargo place of kill, like maybe it got loaded up with fucking shit
weapons
that just kills. That
is great. I think that's great. I'll tell you what, of all the ideas, I think it's the most easily doable, meaning that I understand how to shoot that right away. I think it can be done for a price. Cinematically, I don't know if it's my favorite one because I think, again, I'm huge into world building.
Yeah, I get it.
But I think that it's the
Did I mention it's a musical?
I'm in. I like it a lot. I think
All right,
it's cool.
all right, we'll keep talking. All right.
What if Forrest Gump didn't just run across America, but instead ran from something? What if The Sound of Music was less about a joyous romp through the hills and escaping the Nazis, and more about something much older, living in those hills, watching from the shadows? What if Toy Story was less heartwarming and more heart-stopping? Welcome to Page One Rewrite, where we take your favorite non-horror movies, flip the script, and drag them kicking and screaming into the dark. Right now, we're going to unearth the uncanny, reframe the familiar, and ask that question that we've always wondered about. What if it was a horror movie all along? Let me be clear about something. I'm not an actor, nor am I going to sit here and memorize lines. Maybe if Josh and Darren paid me, it'd be a little bit of a different story, but until that day comes, you're stuck with me, my paperwork, and my fucked up, twisted imagination. So let's get to it, alright? Here's the first ever page 1 rewrite. Forrest Gump was always a little different, simple-minded, kind-hearted, and blessed with an unusual knack to be able to fall right into history. But his life took a dark, irreversible turn when he meets a pale, trembling woman at a bus stop in Savannah. She pleads for help. She tells him, it's coming, it never stops, that she just can't do it anymore. She kisses him. She whispers softly, I'm sorry. Then, that night, it starts. First, Forrest sees a naked man outside his window, expressionless, eyes black, limbs twitching as if struggling to contain something inhuman. The next night, it's a high school gym teacher, blood running from her mouth, bones broken at impossible angles as she lurches toward him in the rain. No one else sees it. No one believes him. But it's always walking slowly, silently across the fields, through cities, down long, empty roads. And it's always a new face. And it's always closer. Forrest runs. He runs like hell. From Alabama to Louisiana, from the deserts of Arizona to the frost-bitten Dakotas. But no matter where he goes, it follows, tearing through anyone who gets in its way. Lovers, strangers, friends. Jenny, now living in a rundown apartment in Baltimore, takes Forrest in, only to become its next victim. In a gut-wrenching sequence, Jenny is cornered in her bathtub, the water turning red as the thing slams her head repeatedly against the porcelain, whispering, do you love him? In Forrest's own voice. Lieutenant Dan, armed and drunk, tries to fight it, only to be gutted in a seedy motel, crawling for his gun as the creature, now wearing his father's rotting face, opens him from sternum to spine. Forrest tries to warn people, but who would believe him? A slow-talking, mentally challenged man rambling about death that walks. He's called crazy, arrested, institutionalized, only to witness the slaughter of an orderly by pulling his face through the bar's teeth first. The curse is passed through sex, but every time Forrest tries to give it away, it returns, more violent, more personal. Every new victim dies faster than the last. It's learning, evolving, feeding. As Forrest's mind begins to break, he returns to the place where it all began, Greenbow, Alabama, where he digs up Mama's grave, convinced that she knew something. Inside her old Bible, he finds sketches, notes, warnings about a curse older than memory, passed through bloodlines, passed through him. In the film's blood-curdling climax, Forrest rigs traps in his childhood home, gasoline, bear traps, and a shotgun, but the creature, now wearing his own face, taunts him. Stupid is as stupid does, and you're one of the dumbest of all. The final scene is ambiguous. Smoke rising from the ashes. Forrest limping down an empty road, alone, bloody, and smiling. But behind him, on the horizon, is yet another figure, walking. Maybe life is like a box of sex demons. I am Uncle Creepy, and that was a page 1 rewrite of Forrest Gump.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Please give the show a follow, and if you could leave a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, each post helps us reach more listeners like you. Another way to support us is to join the crew at djmakeamovie.com. We'd love to hear from you. Follow and join the conversation at DJ Make a Movie on all social platforms. Let's make a movie together.
Darren and Josh Make a Movie, Season 1. Hosted by Darren Bousman and Josh Stolberg. Produced by Addison Marshall. Email the team at djmakeamovie@gmail.com. To watch on video and enjoy all the visuals you may have missed listening to the audio version of the show, subscribe to the Darren and Josh Make a Movie YouTube channel. Thank you for joining.
Oh, yes, there will be blood.
No, it's not creepy at all.
I run a house with 50 crazy bitches. Taught them to survive.
This is real life!
You're hallucinating.
It is real.
This is okay.
That girl really needs to learn to keep her mouth shut.
A man with a shudder.
That is disgusting. Is that a fucking piranha? They took my penis! They took my penis! Oh, I wish I hadn't seen that.
You haven't seen anything yet.
You want to play games, motherfucker? Citrate comes in a little glass vial. Hallelujah!
Darren and Josh Make a Movie.
Cut, Casper. That's a wrap.